Let's have a quick chat about Story of Seasons.
Yeah.
Because I know you like Harvest Moon. Talk to me, Betson. What is it about this game that really appeals to you? Because this is something that I never would have pinned to be a Betson game.
So, Harvest, for some context. So, Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town is a remake of Stories of Harvest Moon's Friends of Mineral Town on the Game Boy Advance, which itself is a remake of Harvest Moon Back to Nature on PlayStation 1.
Yep.
I love Harvest Moon Back to Nature. It is my personal favorite game of all time. I love that game with so much of my being.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of that stems from it's a game that I play yearly. I have it on my PS1. I have it on my Vita. It's everywhere. So at some point every year I play it.
Yep.
And it's comfort. Like, that game was what I played through my teen years. It was a little safe space for me to sort of get away for a little while, and I really enjoy, because it's zen for me. Farming games, especially Harvest Moon, is zen, because it's just focusing on crops, your animals, whatever. It's simple, it's standard. I know it like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
So like there is such an emotional connection to that franchise, and that game specifically, that it does mean that my review of Friends of Mineral Town for Story of Seeds, which there will be a video coming on my channel as well.
YouTube.com/thepopculturist.
Thank you. I am aware that there will be some biases towards it, because of that emotional connection that I have. Because when I booted up this game and it plays the music, and it is the same music.
Yeah.
And then I picked my character, and my character looks like a better rendered version of the one on PS1. And then I named my horse the same name I gave it back in the day. And the town is laid out differently, and there are some new faces, but there are familiar old faces. It was like seeing old friends.
Old friends, yeah.
It's like when I come out and then the mayor addresses me, I'm like, fuck, it's Thomas. And then he's like, hey, we're going. So at 5 o'clock every day, someone empties the bin. I'm like, fucking Zach, you champion. You know what I mean? It's like all these little things that just kind of fill me with such a level of happiness.
It's comfort food.
It is comfort food. And one of my biggest demands, if you go back to any video I've talked about, at some point I've argued that we need a current gen remake of Back to Nature.
Yeah.
And this is the closest that I'm going to ever get to that.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty good. Like there are some things that I wish would be a bit better. But I mean that from a aesthetic value, like there's such a cool, like chibi style coolness in like the 2.5D nature of Back to Nature, which I think got a little lost here. But I think that also gets lost on any of the full 3D Harvest Moon / Story of Seasons games. They kind of get stuck in that middle tier anime Japanese looking game.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And in terms of performance, it runs ripper in handheld. But I get a lot of screen tearing in docked mode. But an update has gone up today. So we've had this for about a week.
Thanks to the kind folk over at Turn Left.
So thanks to Turn Left for that one. So I'd like to hope that that's add a little bit of coolness to it, because this has been like Animal Crossing was my thing for recently, but I don't give a shit about Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing can suck a dick right now. It's all Story of Seasons for me right now.
Fair enough.
And I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Do you think that games like what was the yellow Stardew Valley kind of overshadow this though in a way, only because Stardew Valley has had such a long time to have that job of overshadowing Harvest Moon.
Well, I think so too. Like if you chat with the creator of Stardew Valley, one of his biggest inspirations is Harvest Moon Back to Nature.
It would be. It looks like gameplay is almost identical.
Yeah, so like that was his big that was his big thing. So, and he's been able to add layer on layer on layer on layer on that game, and I do certainly think that Stardew Valley being such an overhaul and an improvement on that casual farming game genre will certainly bring people over, and I think Animal Crossing will do the same as well.
Yeah,
because when people tell me that Animal Crossing would be, if I love Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing would be my jam, I expected more of Animal Crossing. I expected more of what I got from what I just like maintaining a farm or an island or something. And like, there's been a ton of games that I've played since, like, like my time at Porsche and these other sort of games in the interim that didn't deliver the same. And because, I've talked about this numerous times as well, like, although it's now a Story of Seasons, it is the same crew that made Harvest Moon back in the day. It's only licensing reasons that they are no longer calling it Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
So, like, if you want that core, original, genuine Harvest Moon experience, Story of Seasons is where it's at.
Yeah.
And you are going to get that. And, like, if you like Stardew Valley, you're going to like this.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the combat. You're not going to get the some of the extra layers that Stardew Valley has, but
that's due to licensing.
I think but that is something that the gentleman over at I completely brain farted on the company name, but like that's what he wanted. He wanted to add those layers. If people wanted that more traditional Harvest Moon, you're getting that here with Story of Seasons.
Yeah, it really does give off that authentic Harvest Moon vibe. I remember when I played this on, I believe it was Game Boy, the Game Boy Nintendo.
Game Boy Advance, yeah.
Yeah, Game Boy Advance. I think it may have been. Oh yeah, I played on DS, Game Boy Advance. Yeah, I really, really loved it, and to see this come back, it doesn't have everything that it did, but I don't know, man. It really was. Everything that you just said, I agree upon. Like, as soon as that title music hits, it was just like, oh man, this brings back a lot of memories. Like home. Yeah, it really did. And yeah, it's one of those things where, I just came off fresh from The Last of Us Part 2 to jump into something like this. It was just really like, man, I feel so relaxed. There is a good vibe in this game, and I love it. And yeah. Yeah,
so like just to sort of add a bit of positive on there as well, like there are some noticeable improvements here in just simple things like now, because I never played it on Game Boy Advance, because I never owned a Game Boy Advance or original DS, I just never did. So, not until much later. I think I owned a DS much later, but
right.
So something is simple. In the top left hand corner, you have your stamina and your fatigue, which is something that's always been in those games. However, they've never been indicated like that, especially for, say, Back to Nature, which is this whole Friends of Mineral Town is based on that. So it was all done by visual cues, like how your character stumbled after they took so many hits with a hoe or a sickle or something, right?
Yeah.
Where here it's got a visual representation, so you can plan your day better, which is something very, very handy. Yeah. And for me, because I said I know Back to Nature like the back of my hand, like I have to rethink how I play this game because I don't know where the power berries are. I don't know where this is. I don't know where that is. The basics are 100% still there, but they've worked it in such a way that's keeping me guessing. It's keeping me looking at different ways. Yeah. Because they've remapped the island and they've put things in different places and they've put characters in slightly different places and they've renamed some, like the character that because you get to romance a character. I used to romance Anne. Anne was the one I just picked. I don't know why. I just picked her. But now she's got a new name. She's Ran.
Oh, yeah.
And the old shops, it looks like, although I haven't gone down that route, it looks like you can romance dudes. Which is awesome because you can play as a boy or a girl in this game. Cool. So I think you can romance whoever you want, which is
that's pretty cool.
Mad improvement because Back to Nature is dude only. And then it wasn't until more Friends of Mineral Town, which was a slight remake, kind of like a Pokemon Yellow to Red and Blue on Game Boy Advance for Mineral Town. So there are some totally great things. Like they've reworked how you work the mine. So previously with the mine, all you did was go with your hoe and you would just hoe up the ground and it would give you the ore, or it would give you a ladder or give you nothing. Yeah. Where here you're now using the ore, so using your hammer to break up the rocks, which will give you the ore, and the hoe to dig through the ground. Cool. So you're using that because the hammer really only had two uses: break down the boulders that were on your farm, or re-flatten out tilled soil that you had accidentally tilled incorrectly. That's it. There was not a lot to do with it, and they've added some more to do with it, and that's dope. Yeah. It does take more energy now to go mining, so I can't just mine all day like I used to. Yeah. So it has forced me to play it a bit differently.
I got to say that experiencing this game has been such a joy. I don't know it's going to rate really high on Dash Gamer. I already know what I'm going to give it off the top of my head. It's around about an 8.5 to a 9. It's just been awesome to re-experience it again and to see how well it's been recreated. I know that it's not Harvest Moon, but it is Harvest Moon.
It is Harvest Moon.
It is Harvest Moon.
The closest they're going to get.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to have everybody else get their hands on it. Betson, you know when it comes out, yeah?
It comes out this Friday on
July 10th. Yep.